I know this is kind of late, but I wanted to kind of give my opinion on what happened recently with Onision and his comment about a married woman whose husband woke her up and was, I don't know, it sounded like he was like molesting her in her sleep, and his really insensitive comment back to her. Um, what he said sounded to me and to a lot of other people like he was condoning marital rape or rape within relationships. And I just wanted to comment on the fact that no matter how many times someone has consented before, anything like being in a relationship, being married, that doesn't give anybody automatic consent ever. You always need to get consent from that person at that time. Or let's say if they really were into like what that guy was doing, you would have to actually say like later, it's okay if you wake me up or something like that. That's okay, but just doing that and taking it upon yourself to decide that that person is consenting is not okay. Um, I really haven't had time to talk about it immediately because of school, and I've been really, really busy, like with 5 projects at a time. So I did write something on Tumblr about it. I got quite a few reblogs, but I wanted to speak on it on here because a lot of people don't really like go on Tumblr for Onision. They go here. I'm struggling with the fact that a lot of people are saying things like it's just his opinion. Who cares? And they don't seem to know the difference between like a regular opinion and a hurtful, hateful opinion. This isn't just someone who said something like, "Oh, Nickelback is an awesome band," that I disagree with, and I'm like, that person, has bad taste, but it's just their opinion. I can move on with my life. The things that he's saying are things that actually hurt people. Um, when you make comments like this, it tells somebody who's doing that currently to their significant other that what they did is okay. It it gives them a justification for what they're doing. And that's why I can't just let him saying that go. I just can't stress enough that it's not just a harmless opinion. It's going to tell women who this is happening to, who feel uncomfortable or violated, that it's okay that the guy did this to her, or even vice versa, that the girl did this to a guy who didn't want it. And it's going to make them feel ashamed, and it's going to make them hide the way that it makes them feel and not feel comfortable speaking out against it because someone they respected for God knows what reason, Onision, told them that that's something that they should want and be okay with. Also, what he says really is disrespectful to people who just have different levels of libido than he does. Not everybody is built the same way. Not everybody has the same needs he has, but he's actually saying things like he hates people who don't have the same feelings about sex that he does, which is ridiculous. Every single person has a different needs and different wants. And I don't understand hating them for that. That's the most ridiculous thing I think I've ever heard. You know, he's just trying to make people ashamed for things that are totally natural yet again, and that just blows my mind that people are on his side. I'm really glad that this time a lot of people weren't on his side, but for the few people that were on his side, I'm worried about them. And I'm worried about how opinions like this are going to affect their relationships and hurt people who they're involved with. That's my main concern, is that people are going to be hurt because they see this type of opinion being justified by somebody that they admire. I feel really bad for the woman who wrote into him also, because she was sounded really sincerely upset about what happened. And I would be upset about that if it happened to me. Um, I would see that as rape, and I would definitely have a problem with that. So she posed a really serious personal question to him, and he just like blew it up all over YouTube and didn't care about like the fact that this was actually serious, and he kind of laughed about it and actually shamed her about it. And I feel really bad that that happened to her. I saw that she had written in to someone else who had commented on it, and she was humiliated. Um, and I really I don't understand like why he thinks that's okay and why he didn't apologize for that. I feel like if he really cared about the people that are supporting him, he would have apologized for that immediately and he would have handled it differently. I think the appropriate response to that question would have been that he likes it within his relationship and he's gotten and given consent to have that type of relationship with women he's been with, but that if it upsets you, that your partner has no right to do that to you. And you need to communicate that to your partner, and he needs to respect that. I think that would have been a good response. It would have been a helpful response. It would have told her that she's right in feeling the way that she felt, which she totally is, and that he's also right in feeling the way he feels, as long as there's consent involved prior. And he totally missed the boat on that. He totally missed the boat on giving her the comfort in knowing that she has support and what she is feeling is justified. Instead, he just humiliated her and put her private information up there for everybody to see, and if they followed what he did, laugh at. I mean, I think I expect too much from him because I expect that maybe eventually he'll become a reasonable human being and he'll think before he acts and he'll do research and listen to people before he speaks on things, because that's what we keep telling him. But instead of actually listening to what we say, he just deletes our comments and blocks us and calls us haters and does all this stupid 5-year-old type stuff. And it's just really, it's a cycle of abuse that I'm getting really tired of, and I'm really upset with YouTube that they're not following through, on what I think is their responsibility to remove him from YouTube, because he's dangerous. He's spreading around dangerous opinions. He's influencing young people to do things that they need a responsible adult to be telling them things, not a 5-year-old in a 30-year-old's body. Like, I really think that his Speaks channel needs to be removed. This type of dangerous opinion, it's going to lead to victimization. It probably already has. And I'm not willing to accept anyone's opinion that victimizes another person, that takes away people's basic human rights. And it's a basic human right to be able to give or not give consent. And he doesn't seem to think that that's something that anybody who fits within a certain criteria, if you're married, if you slept with too many people, if you're a slut, you don't have that right to give or take away consent. And that's the message that not just me, but tons of people are getting from him. So if that's not what he means, he clearly isn't communicating it right, because everybody is taking it the wrong way. And I think he needs to take responsibility for that. And he clearly isn't, because he's started the cycle of abuse anew. The last time he said something horrible that really hurt a lot of people, then he blamed them for being hurt by it and called them haters and, made these just horrible videos about how they're bad people and that he's right. Then he apologizes to save face and tries to get everyone to forgive him, and all his fans go, oh, he's sorry. It's okay. At least he can man up and apologize. But then he doesn't learn from it, and he, waits a couple weeks or months, and then he says something horrible that he shouldn't be speaking on because he doesn't know what he's talking about all over again. It's just the same cycle. It's clear cycle of abuse. He's abusing his fans. He's abused his girlfriends. I mean, it's very clear cut to me, and I don't understand why YouTube isn't taking action on it. And the last thing that I'm getting frustrated about is all of the infighting between people who are against Onision's behavior. I've seen some stuff about people, getting angry at each other for not doing anything about it. And I think that's kind of ridiculous. I don't think it's any of our fault that what's happening is continuing to happen. I've seen hundreds of people work towards actually getting him removed from YouTube. And the reality is that YouTube doesn't care. He's making them money, and they're not listening to us. You know, there's only so much that we can each do. We've all been reblogging information about him. We've all been signing petitions. We've all made videos. You know, we've written to YouTube AdSense. We've flagged everything. I don't really know what else some people are expecting from us, because the real blame lies with Onision and with YouTube. Onision's the one saying this stuff, and YouTube's the one giving him a forum to say this stuff. So instead of being mad at each other, why don't we continue to be mad at them? If you do feel like fighting for it some more, if you have the time, which I know I have a lot less of right now, but I'm doing what I can. But I will leave links below of things you can do, ideas, you know, to try to get some justice for this, because I really think that YouTube needs a wake-up call. I really think they need to take responsibility for this and remove at least his Speaks channel, because that's the one where he's really, you know, stating these things in such an aggressive way. And instead of fighting each other, I feel like we should be working together. You know, we all disagree with him for the same reasons. We're all affected by it in the same way. There's no reason why we can't come together instead of fighting. But, you know, hopefully you guys will take the links below and do something about it. I think a great thing would be to start writing to some news sources. I've listed some below. You know, get people who aren't immersed in YouTube culture to actually pay attention. I just can't stress how important it is to actually fight against this, because I really do believe that it's hurting people. You know, it's making people feel helpless. It's making them feel victimized, and I feel like it's going to victimize people. That's what these types of opinions do to people. So don't take it lightly. You know, it's not even funny. The only thing that's funny about Onision is his really bad attempt at music. Everything else is not funny. It's just tragic. So I think we all need to get on the same page and really just go hard on him. So no violent, you know, stuff, which, you know, throwing bananas at him for VidCon was supposedly some threat, but, you know, whatever gets him kicked off VidCon. But, you know, that was something we should be proud of, that he's kicked off VidCon. I was really excited. It's a small victory from people who actually care more about, you know, the people attending versus the money that they make. So that was good. Now we just have to figure out a way to get YouTube to do the same thing.